That's insane.
Yeah, it was not since last night. So.
All right. You guys good with the show notes?
I looked at them. I will during 5 minutes. I have been assholes and elbows the last 30 minutes. I'm eating my dinner actively.
Yeah, I need to order some of that because I didn't cook anything and I've been sleeping. So.
Yeah, you can eat when you're dead.
Yeah, true.
I'm gonna look up yacht mechanics. Alright, let me know when I need to shut up. I'm gonna look up Tamashima Yakashima. Oh, Jakusuzu.
All right. Welcome, gamers, to One More Game podcast. This is episode 19. I am your host, theStroke, and I'm here with my good buddies, Swiftmida, and ImPickleMatt. Gentlemen, welcome.
What's
Hey,
going
buddy.
on?
What's going on, guys? You living the dream still? You gaming? You parenting? What's up?
Shoot, mostly parenting these days, but getting a little bit of gaming in when I can.
Yeah, I haven't been parenting as much, but I have been doing a little gaming and mostly dealing with fixing my AC because I messed it up last night trying to install a new Nest device.
Oh, you were the one that messed it up.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Dang. That's heartbreaking.
I shorted out the low voltage circuit and all hell broke loose. It's been wild.
Well, that'll buff out. You'll be fine.
But but I
it's
tell
just
you what,
Phoenix in the middle of summer.
Here in Phoenix, you don't want to be without AC. I promise.
Did you guys go to a coffee shop or something to survive?
No, well, Shannon's been in New York all week, so it's been me living bachelor mode, and I was like, well, I might as well, me all macho, might as well do a little couple upgrades while she's gone, and of course I screwed it up. So I slept upstairs last night with Paisley because I couldn't stand the heat downstairs.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that sounds horrible. It's been 109 here, so we've been inside a lot. But we got the AC working because I don't mess with that kind of stuff.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, cool. We've taken a couple weeks off because life happens, but we're happy to be here, and we're glad to have you guys there in the chat. And listeners, if you're out there, thanks for joining us for one more week of One More Game. We got a cool episode for you today, mostly because Swift and I. We won't spoil it yet, but some big gaming news has happened for the One More Game podcasters this week, so we'll get into it here later. And we're going to be talking to you about the PlayStation. So real quick, I'm going to play for you the most nostalgic noise you'll ever hear.
Oh, I heard it in my head.
Yeah, so if you know what that noise is, you should be knowing what we're going to be talking about here shortly. But with that, let's get right into the news for the week. All right. Yeah, Jay Thatcher in the chat says, whoa, did I just boot up Final Fantasy VII or Bushido Blade?
That's right.
Good gamer right there. All right, guys. Cool bit of news we got going for you. God of War Ragnarok got released its first, basically we'll call it a story synopsis. I guess you guys, if you've played that game, you probably kind of know exactly-ish what the story's going to get after, but they did have a news article, press release come out that said it will be taking place in the Fimbulwinter. So if you're up on your Norse mythology, that's the era that takes place right before Ragnarok. And Ragnarok is the kind of end of days thing going on where all the gods die and everyone's fighting each other. So, yeah, that's going to be going on during the story of God of War Ragnarok. And you guys excited to be killing some gods coming up here? I imagine we're going to be taking them out.
Man, I can't wait. It's been a long time coming.
Dude, I know. Yeah, I know we talked about this last episode as far as how good it looks, and we talked about it, us three, about how we're just expecting great things, and hopefully it holds the mark. But I can't imagine it doesn't, just based on the studio that's putting this out.
Yeah, I don't see a world that exists after they have that game. They followed up with the dud, no shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
But I'm so excited.
I was under the impression that they were going to make it another trilogy, so I thought it almost sounds, well, Ragnarok is obviously end of days, if Norse mythology, but I thought it was going to be the lead up to a third game. I don't know if they're planning on doing that or if that was just something in my brain because everything comes in threes these days.
Maybe it's the third one's going to be in Valhalla type stuff.
Oh yeah. That'd be dope too.
Oh, witness me.
Yeah,
action.
I don't
think yeah, that's right.
I'm interested to see if they're, obviously we're excited for this one. I'm interested to see if there's a next one because obviously Ragnarok, you would think that would be it, but
Right.
Well, Thor Ragnarok wasn't the end, so
that's true. That's
True.
So,
all right.
Taze, are you gonna get the $200 special edition? That way, you have all the figurines.
The giant hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, I'm thinking about it.
Is that how much the collector's edition costs?
If I was, the super collectors is like super expensive, but
okay.
I don't know, if I had just played through God of War, I'd probably be tempted too. I'm enough detached, I think, that I'm not gonna get that.
Yeah, I'm all about it right now. Like, now would be the time for them to get me because I'm just so sucked into the story. Except, I do have something interesting. When I was playing today, I'm in this. I don't know if you're here. It might be a spoiler for you, Swift, but my son in that game is being a little douchebag to me all of a sudden. Teenage angst going on.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
Okay.
Oh, boy. There's more mythology to come.
Damn it,
Don't
boy.
you worry. Boy. I gotta convince my wife to let us be I don't know who she would be, but I want to be have my son be Artreus and for Halloween.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I don't know if you have the muscle structure, bro. But
there's always like padded suits you can buy, I'm sure.
All right, you got to get in the gym. Here we go. You got 3 months.
Time to get in shape for Halloween.
And some steroids.
I'm just not gonna eat, not drink water.
It's not hot boy summer anymore. It's hot boy Halloween.
There you go. Cool. Well, next bit of news that's pretty exciting, at least for Swift and myself. So, Mr. Elon has announced that Tesla is planning on testing their Steam integration on their dashboards and their vehicles coming out in August. So, basically, he said, we're making progress on Steam integration, demo probably next month, which in Elon terms means who knows what. But
yeah, that's 1.5 years from now.
Yeah. I mean, Swift, like, will you ever leave your vehicle if you can play God of War in your car?
Nope. I sure won't.
There's no reason to, right? You've got the HEPA air filter. People like camp in the Teslas?
Air conditioning, since you don't have it in your house.
What's the point? Yeah.
Exactly.
Just get rid of that house.
Nice, just tell Shannon to move into the car. We'll be good.
Move into the car.
I mean, if this integrates with Bluetooth, right? If you could just bring a controller in your car, like, this is actually pretty cool. I hope this works out. But.
Yeah, the possibilities are, just to think of the different things they could do with this, I think it would be crazy.
I mean, just the waiting for 30 minutes for a charge on the highway would be significantly life improved, right?
Right. Get a couple of 30 minutes of time out of Elden Ring. You'll be beat that game in no time.
But you gotta play with the steering wheel, like in Mario Kart on the Tesla.
Yeah, Elden Ring is hard enough, bro.
Honk the horn to swing the sword or something.
Cool. So there's no telling when this is going to be a thing, but I'm pretty excited about it, and no telling like what games will work on it and whatnot. But it would have to be cloud services, which aren't great in general, but who knows? It's just cool to see we can do things like this, you know?
Yeah. I think it's crazy that
has science gone too far.
You know, we get the when I got my Tesla, you know, you go to a supercharger station and sit there, you know, you can walk around or whatever while it charges, but I just sat there and watched Netflix or Hulu or, you know, whatever. And I thought that was cool. But, you know, now to be able to just plug your car in for 25 minutes and play a video game that you've been trying to play while you're... Obviously, the best part is while your wife and kids aren't nagging you because you're alone in the Tesla, you know, you got time.
No, they're in the Tesla because you live there now.
That's true. Yeah. I forgot I lived there.
Jay Thatcher in the chat says Peggle in the car sounds incredible.
Oh, I'm for it. I have from time to time fired up Stardew Valley on the screen when I'm charging.
Yeah,
and it's cool to be. It's all touch, and you don't have to use the controller or the wheel. But yeah, we'll see.
Who's your wife in that?
I don't know. I've only played 10 minutes at a time because I don't charge for very long. But I get those games I'm not very good at because I just end up chopping wood all day long, so to speak. But.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool beans. All right, next thing we got on the horizon here. Intel has shared some initial details about their Arc GPUs they've got coming out here. But basically, they've shown some graphics about performance versus a RTX 3060. And here's the numbers, dude. In all these games, Formula 1, 2021, Cyberpunk, you're getting about a 1.17 times performance out of these Intel cards over a not top of the line RTX model from NVIDIA. But it's good to see there'll be a third competitor in the GPU market. Does this make any waves for you guys, or are you just going to be sticking with your NVIDIAs?
Oh, I'm NVIDIA. I'm sticking with the NVIDIA, but it is cool to see it. I mean, the 3060 is not it's not a card to
Scoff.
dog on. It's a pretty good card, especially for the price point where it is. But I think Gamers Nexus they got their hands on a card or two, or the Arc GPUs or two, and they tested them out and they were given some pretty decent reviews. And it sounds like the engineers behind it at Intel are really cool guys, and they're like really into it. So hopefully they can take it pretty far.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like this is a random company trying this, right? Like they make microprocessors. They know how this stuff works. They have a huge market share of the CPU market. So this will be pretty cool to see. Especially, I think what this could end up doing is driving prices down, because you've got a third competitor, and now you need a little bit more incentive for customers to buy your cards. So it's all good for us. More options and probably less expensive options.
It's interesting timing too, because they obviously had just released with the crash of the crypto market, and I have to imagine that part of their eyeballs when they were making, or part of their goals when they were making these cards, was to get involved in that, and they knew demand was kept going up. So we'll see if that comes to. I mean, I guarantee they're not going to cancel it, but I'm sure that put a kink in their plans.
It's a weird market right now. I was at Micro Center the other day. We were talking about this earlier, and it used to be you walk down the aisles of that store and it was like tumbleweeds would blow by, and you'd be like, "Do you have any NVIDIA graphics cards?" And the worker would laugh at you and get his buddies. And he'd start laughing, and his buddies would start laughing at you and pointing at you. But I was there the other day, dude, and it was just wall-to-wall 3090 Ti's. It's kind of crazy.
In the wild.
Yeah. Lady Mythical Z, thanks for the follow. If you guys take a look down there, we're at 44 followers on our follower goal. And just 6 more. You guys can make this happen. Call your grandma, get her in here, hit that follow button so you can know when we go live every week. And we'll
get my parents in on this. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a good call.
But for real, thank you for the support, guys. And we're loving doing this for you. And if you're a first-time viewer, glad to have you here. And let's move on. All right. This is really cool for those of us who play with other gamers on different platforms. So Discord has announced that they will be coming. It will be available on Xbox starting immediately for any Xbox insiders, and then it'll be released to all Xbox owners in the coming months. And Almighta, thanks for the follow as well. You guys are nailing it. Look at that, 45, almost there.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right, so Discord, Xbox, it's going to work seamlessly you'll be able to, let's say we're already in a Discord chat right now. You can just click transfer over to your Xbox, transfer the audio, and you can walk right over your Xbox and you'll be right back in that channel. So this is going to be pretty cool for all you gamers out there who have a healthy variety of people that you play with all the cross-platform games that we have out there. What do you guys think? Is this going to suck still because they're still on console headsets?
That was my initial reaction. It was great. Now I get to, on Discord, hear everybody's fans blowing into their microphones. I'm a snob now.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. We're spoiled, right? But I think it's really cool for games that don't have, like I think Fortnite is the only game, in my opinion, that has really nailed like the in-game voice chat.
Yeah.
Right? We played Call of Duty for so long, and there were always issues. You always had someone not on comms, couldn't hear somebody. So I think it's really cool. I think it's sad that it's not coming to PS as well, because I think they could take a note from Xbox to get it integrated. But I think it's really cool because we have buddies that only play on Xbox, and this will be nice to actually have a platform for them to just, no kidding, be able to talk regardless if we're in a game or not. And I actually just convinced, because you convinced me to buy the A50s. I then convinced Jimmy to buy A50s for his PS,
so we don't have to hear his TV anymore.
Yeah, we're starting to upgrade all the boys in the group to actual headsets, so that we can all have a nice time rather than hearing all the other random noises.
Yeah, Astro, go ahead and send One More Game podcast just to check for how much money we're getting you for getting all the boys hooked up with A50s.
That's right. Can I tell a quick Discord story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my friends and I were playing Phasmophobia on VR, which it's one of the most scary games I've ever played. But you're basically hunting a ghost in a haunted house, various haunted houses, and the comm system in that is actually really cool, because you have to actually go up there with your controller, and you have to squeeze the button in order to key your radio, and then you can talk to each other.
Oh,
so if
that's
you're
kind of
far away
cool
from each other, you have to squeeze
cool.
the radio. So but we weren't really good at using it right away, so we would send somebody into the basement by himself in the dark, and the guy that was standing at the top of the steps would barely hear him yelling, and then finally, after 10 seconds of yelling, he remembered he had to key his mic. So then you'd hear, "Oh my God, it's down here, down here, down here!" And
I've been screaming for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, you'd see him sprinting back up. So then we switched to Discord and just cheated on the game, because we were not good at yelling at each other through our microphones. It was
nice. Yeah, PlayStation 10. Mother of God. All right. Apologies. I have no idea what that was. I think the Chinese are listening. But cool. Yeah, PlayStation tends to be last in when it comes to integrating things like that. But it looks like we just lost PickleMatt there, but we'll get him back in here. Don't you guys worry. But
this guy with his technical difficulties, tell you what.
Every week with this guy.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, don't let it happen again. Fool me 3 times.
All right, so it looks like we swapped positions.
I have no idea what happened there.
Yeah,
this is an expensive microphone.
That really hurt my ears.
Oh, yeah, that was loud.
Gosh.
Welcome to the chat, listeners. I hope you can still hear. And if you need to go to the medical, see someone medically, you can send ImPickleMatt your bills.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, homies. What were we talking about? Discord. Yeah. So you know who's never going to integrate this? Nintendo.
No.
So,
yeah.
You'll still have to call your friends on a landline to talk to them while you're playing Nintendo games together. But
send me your 25-digit friend code, and we can play Nintendo sometime.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Will do. All right, last bit of news. This is not news to the gaming world, but it's news to One More Game podcast faithful. So myself and Mr. Swiftmida over there, we are now proud owners of PS5s. And we have unlocked an entire library of games that we can talk to you about now, finally, instead of just having to hire ImPickleMatt to talk about VR and PlayStation.
Oh no! I just realized I'm going to get kicked off the show.
Yeah. And so we're also going to use this opportunity to let Matt know that he's being let go.
I get that. My microphone just went crazy.
Cool. So yeah, man, what's your I guess we're going to get into it because that's going to be our major topic of the week, but initial thoughts, like, are you pretty having a good time with it?
Wait, hold on.
All right.
How did you get the PS5? Let's talk about that.
So let's talk about how this happened. So if you guys don't know, I'm ImPickleMatt. If you're not in the Discord, he is always posting like the most up-to-date current, like how you can get gaming consoles, graphics cards, games for cheap, all kinds of stuff. And he messages us one day and he's like, "You guys want a PS5? It's coming to, if you're a Best Buy Total Tech member, you can get it without any competition." And I'm a Total Tech member, so I went and got it myself, but he did buy one for Swiftmida and mailed it to
right
him.
in the carton. Yeah. Swift picked it up.
So
yeah. Stab called me because initially Stab was like, "Dude, PS5 release soon. Do anybody want one?" And I messaged him. I mean, we were up in Idaho. I'm pretty sure I was drunk, and I was just like, "Yep, sign me up."
Yep.
One button buy.
And then he called me. He's like, "Dude, seriously, do you want it?" And yeah, absolutely. So
you were still drunk.
Yep, still drunk. He absolutely bought one for me.
What a guy.
He ordered it, reserved it. I was still in Idaho when it was ready. We got in the car to come back home, Paisley and and I was like, well, I can't just, leave it at Best Buy. The offer expires on Friday to get it. So I have to get it right this second. And it was Monday. But I was like, I absolutely have to go pick this thing up. So I did the curbside pickup. I parked, the guy walked out with it. He's like, "Where do you want it?" "Yep, right there in the back. That's perfect."
Right.
Okay, bye.
Get in the frunk.
Yeah.
That's way better than how I got my other friend a PS5. I bought one physically from Walmart and walked out with my toddler in the cart and the PS5 just out in the open. I thought I was totally going to get mugged.
It's funny you say that because one of my buddies was like, "You did curbside pickup? I'm surprised the guy didn't get mugged. The Best Buy, technician didn't get mugged in the parking lot walking it out to your car."
They're not easy to come by.
Well, we'll talk about that here coming up. Cool. Well, we'll get into it. But yeah, there you have it, folks. We're going to be bringing you a lot more PlayStation commentary because we both now own the console that neither of us had it before.
I think Swift only got it because he realized that God of War Ragnarok was a PS5 exclusive.
Dude, that's 100% true. I said it 2 weeks ago. I have to get a PS5 now.
Yes.
I'm excited about the library, dude. I looked at all the games on their, like, whatever they're calling it, classic back catalog, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, you got me hooked."
We got a listener in the chat said need a whole episode on Metal Gear.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm all about
Such
Metal
a good
Gear.
Game. I just heard the sound in my nugget again for the alerted enemies. Yeah.
I need to get that on the soundboard. I'll work on that next week. All right.
Every time my technical difficulties happen, you can play it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like. But all right, guys, let's get into the games radar for the week. All right. So it's summertime and video games, they don't really release a lot of good ones. So it's going to be kind of a slow week, but I think we found a couple of decent ones for you guys to check out, spanning a wide variety of types of games. So first off, coming out on 26th July on PC, it's the Tarnishing of Juxtia. Quite the mouthful, but we'll get a look at it for you. So this looks very much like a Hollow Knight. So kind of a 2D platformer with a really cool art style. It's more pixelated and less hand drawn than Hollow Knight, but it's won some gaming awards and looks like a pretty good side-scrolling Metroidvania platformer type game with some hard boss fights and some cool atmosphere. But you guys get a chance to check this bad Johnny out?
I looked at the trailer a little bit. It looks cool. I don't get into these games until I do. So everybody was talking about Dead Cells a lot, and I was just like, "Oh, that game doesn't interest me." And then one day it was like $5 or something, and I bought it and I couldn't put it down. So I feel like in 5 years I'll be bragging about how awesome this game is.
Yeah,
I was for that long.
I was looking through it, and it has some of the trappings that I like in these kind of games, but it's also the movement and the mobility is very slow, and I really like the games like Hollow Knight and Ori and the Blind Forest, where you can move like quickly and do a lot of cool things fast. And this looks a lot more strategic Elden Ring style when it comes to the combat. But so Swift's totally in.
Jay Thatcher in the chat asked for recommendations on a Metal Gear game. Just really quick, if you want to play Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty from 2001, that's really good. I don't know if PlayStation has it, but Phantom Pain is kind of the newer one. If you want to play that, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave Thatcher out on a whole lot of Metal Gear stuff on the back catalog, so that's a good question. I don't know
if the chat has any recs for him. Yeah,
I think honestly, I would start from the beginning because there's a lot of stuff that carries over. Okay. Next up is I know Swift's going to be all about this since he spent the weekend on the lake and all that, but Yacht Mechanic Simulator, 28 July, coming out on PC. You can build your own yacht empire. Yacht Mechanic Simulator lets you have a taste of luxury as you renovate, redecorate, test, and sell state-of-the-art yachts of various sizes. You can also do like a career mode, and you can guide other yachtsmen to building their own fleet. So it's pretty intricate, and if you aspire to be a yachtsman someday, this may be the only way that that's going to be possible. So check this out.
It's like the Madden, I forget what it's called, story mode, or any of the sports games these days that have the franchise mode. Yeah. Yeah, you get to build your own franchise and help other people do it. And
I'm just looking at the balance up here in this dude's account. What are we looking at? 13,900,000. Yeah.
I bet you burn through that real quick on a yacht, though. If you,
I mean, that's like one yacht.
Yeah, no, that's like part of it. That's like a small, like peasant yacht.
Yeah, not like a Russian oligarch yacht. But
yeah.
Well, if you're into simulators, though, this would probably be pretty good. It looks good, and
maybe they'll integrate Power Wash Simulator into it, and you can
into Yacht Simulator. Maybe they'll integrate all the simulator games, and then it'll just be reality.
You can have a farm. You can power wash your yacht, and you can also build them. All of the simulators.
Oh, there's way more. There's a lawnmower simulator. There's a
I think that one's free on Epic Games next week. Lawnmower Simulator.
Yeah, that actually has that game has really high reviews. Like
I think people play it to like relax.
Yeah, I mean mowing the lawn is kind of zen, but
yeah.
Who am I kidding? I don't do that.
If they don't have the Lonely Island song, "I'm on a boat" on this game, then they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, truth. All right, last game we got coming at you this week is called Squish. 29 July on the Switch. This is going to be kind of a couch co-op party platformer game where you're trying to be the last one to survive. It's got like a Tetris element where these blocks kind of fall down. You're trying to dodge them, jump on top of them. Also, like jump on your buddy's nugget and let him fall into the lava. But their description is Squish is a spoopy, squishy, and fast-paced puzzle platformer party game where you and up to 3 gooey friends rave it up in an underground crypt as it collapses down on top of you. You must push blocks, dodge, and jump to survive the rave and squish your opponents. Last Skelligoo standing takes it all. This looks like it could be a fun drunken party game.
Yeah, it looks like the next, Overcooked.
Yeah.
Like we played on TDY. I also love the fact that they the first thing to describe the game is spoopy. I've never heard that. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Sounds like the sound. It sounds like the sound that will probably happen when you get crushed by one of those blocks.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
I like how they're called skelegoos.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're looking,
game looks like it could be super fun with friends.
Yeah, especially with with kids, like they love this kind of junk.
Oh yeah, so many good colors in there too.
Yeah.
Now that I have a toddler, I see everything through his eyes, So it's like, what kind of bright, flashy colors is he gonna love in this?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are our games radar for the week. If you are looking forward to a game that you'd like to have us review or play or at least talk about, you can reach us at OMG_podcastGG on Twitter and Instagram, or you can send us an email like Big Eats 13 did this week, and we will read what he said after I play the sound, because it's cool. All right, so loved the podcast this week, guys. I haven't done any VR, but I've watched it on Twitch a handful of times. Legit didn't even realize how many different games were out for these much less games that people I knew played. Also, I concur, playing N64 at my place with Swift, Joe, and JMO was sick. Oh, this is a real-life listener who you know in real life. And despite the driver issue, ImPickleMatt still crushed his first appearance. What a nice compliment.
That's so nice.
Craig's always been a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the email, Craig. Too. And if you want to be like Big Eats 13, you can do the same. OMGpodcastGG@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you like, what you don't, what you'd like us to play or talk about. Or if you have an idea for our main topic of the week, go ahead and shoot us that. And we've done that plenty of times where we've talked about things that our listeners have emailed us. So, all right. You guys have anything to say to Craig for his kind words?
Thank you.
Thanks for pulling the team's weight on pretty much every game that we've played recently.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except he's always out of ammo. He always needs ammo.
Doesn't everybody?
There's always one guy.
If you don't shoot, you don't need ammo.
That's true.
That's what I do.
I just run away and I mount the wolf so that I have a friend.
Yep. I like it. All right. On those same lines, we also got a podcast review from now this person we don't know in real life, but we haven't heard from him in a while, so I'm glad to see that he left a review. So Tractor Beam, if you guys don't remember him, he's the video game angel who sent Swift and I a copy of Elden Ring, which I'm very happy for, which we'll get into in what we played this week. But he said on Apple Podcasts, perfect, exactly what I was looking for. Nice work, honest, and a relaxed vibe. Keep it up, guys. Thank you very much, Tractor Beam, once again. And if you guys would like to leave us a review, that is the number one way you can help us and our podcast kind of get discovered and kind of grow this little community that we got going on. And we're happy to read those reviews every week for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Tractor Beam. Really quick, Nana F16 says, I want the hat that you have on for ImPickleMatt. This was made by a female fighter pilot in one of the squadrons here, and it's super dope, and I'll try to get you hooked up if you want to order one.
Boom. There you have it.
Boom.
ImPickleMatt, always hooking people up with swag or PlayStations.
Love that. Or
PlayStations.
All right. Sounds good. You boys ready to move into the major topic for the week?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, we are going to get into the Sony PlayStation as a commemoration of Swift and I both purchasing / being gifted one, or not gifted, but we already talked about it. Yeah, all right, so let's go back. Let's go back way back. It's 94. Swift, you're what are you? You're in your second year in the Air Force?
Yeah. Jeez. a spry 6-year-old.
Yeah. 1994, PlayStation is released in Japan, and then 95 everywhere else. So it's been a long time, and it's created a lot of memories. You guys heard that sound at the top of the episode, but PlayStation kind of has a nostalgia associated with it because especially with our generation, because we all kind of it shaped our video gaming life. So, but what were you doing in '94 there, PickleMatt?
94. I don't have any memories from then. I was 4.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I was 7.
Duck Hunt.
So I was probably trading some Pokemon cards. Actually, no. When did Pokemon come out? 94 as well?
You're probably winning some Pogs.
Pogs, yeah. There you have it. The Cowboys were winning a winning football team. What a strange world it was.
What a strange. America's football team was actually America's football team.
Yep. And so Nintendo had a partnership with the Sony company. Sony, before that, they had a video game development department in their business, but they didn't have a hardware. So they had a partnership with Nintendo, and the goal was to create a CD version of the Japanese Super Famicom. So just think Super Nintendo, but in Japan. And so their goal was to work together to create a CD-ROM version so you could have, higher fidelity graphics, move into the 3D realm, all that kind of stuff. Cool. Well, the deal falls through. Nintendo, they had the whole thing working. Like, you can find some of these things on the internet of like I'll show you guys here. So this is the original Sony Super Famicom. If I can give you a good view, but so they partnered with Nintendo. They got it working, and this is kind of what it looked like. But as they go into the business portion of this deal, Nintendo pulls out. They can't figure out how to make the profit agreement work and all that kind of stuff. And the Sony head was pissed. And so, like, much like a old samurai movie, he vows to rival Nintendo, and he hires the father of PlayStation, that the guy who created this prototype, to be Nintendo's direct competitor. And that's kind of how the PlayStation moved from being a partnership with Nintendo to being kind of an actual piece of technology. Did you guys know any of this? Am I hooking you up with some knowledge?
I didn't know anything
You're
about the Famicom.
hooking me up with knowledge. I love the fact that it turns out to be a rivalry, and
right,
like, no kidding, like you talked about, not just
it's like
gaming console rivalry, but like, you know what?
Yeah,
F you.
Screw you
Shogun
guys.
Total War.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Japanese samurais movies, like, it's black and white. You hear the tuk, 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 and then the two consoles face off. But yeah,
there's
cool.
Some,
So
cherry blossom falling in the background, slow motion.
So yeah, a couple years later, after that deal falls through, the PlayStation 1 is released, and in '94 in December, and then '95 everywhere else. And PlayStation 1 becomes the first console ever to hit 100 million units sold, and that took about a decade to happen. But yeah, so talk about a direct competitor to kind of a company that had a stranglehold on the market, because Sega was there, but it wasn't putting up the big numbers like Nintendo was. Yeah, so 100 million units was kind of nuts. What do you guys? I think we talked about this before, Swift. PickleMatt, do you know the number one selling console ever?
Is it PS2?
Yeah, 155 million units, which is insane. But I think Switch is starting to approach that number.
I'm actually pretty surprised by that. I would have thought that something like the Xbox 360 or Xbox One would have passed it, or any of the new PlayStations.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, any of the new PlayStations, they're just not available, so of course they're not going to sell that much. You know.
What do you mean? We both just got one. There are plenty.
Yeah.
You just gotta be my friend.
Jay Thatcher thought it was the Wii. The Wii did sell really well, but no. Sorry.
Oh man, I worked at Best Buy when the Wii was on sale.
Hey,
oh
so did
gosh. You did too?
Yeah.
The Wii and the Wii Fit. It was like
Madness.
so many soccer moms that were just very angry when I told them we had no more.
I'm gonna do yoga.
Nobody used that.
Cool. All right. So then PlayStation kind of has this history of making the console originally and then coming out with like, this is what the console should have looked like when we first built it. And it's like a slimmed down version. So they did the same with the PlayStation. They didn't call it slim in this case. They called it the PS1 ONE. And that if you look down there in the bottom picture there, it's kind of, if you remember that bad boy, they sold that one much later after the original release.
I'd actually never seen the PS1.
The white one?
Never seen the PlayStation. Yeah, IRL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I've only seen one of those one time. Those use memory cards, did they not? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's they had memory cards.
And that was still in the two controller days, right?
Yeah, the multi-tap didn't come until the PS2.
Yeah, so then that's what I remember. N64, the reason I had N64 is because it had 4 controllers, and PlayStation only had 2-player games. Cool. All right, so now you all remember the PS2. Here's your fat version, and then the slim version is released shortly thereafter. PS2 is the #1 selling console of all time, and this basically launches us into like the world of 3D gaming. Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 kind of started it, but this starts going from, polygon looking stuff to games that kind of still stand up today a little bit. But yeah, so PlayStation 2, I just remember everyone having one of these things. I did not. I was like the only kid that didn't have one of these.
I had one
week too. Yeah.
Yeah, we got ours randomly because I lived in Alaska at the time, and my parents were like, what do you want for Christmas? Blah blah blah. Turns out they had a friend that worked at Best Buy, or it wasn't even Best Buy. It was like it was
Circuit City.
It wasn't that, but
Radio
some
Shack.
store, and they were selling them out.
EB Games.
You couldn't find one, and my parents surprised me on Christmas morning because I got a PS2, and they were like, the only reason we got the last one in the store only because we knew so and so, and I was like, I was so ecstatic as a kid.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, not happening at the Gibson household. How much was this thing when it came out? I think it was $400 maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
$400 real dollars at the time? No, $300.
$300, $299.
Oh my gosh. What is that in today's dollars? That had to have been, I guess probably the price
that's over
of the PS5.
I'm running the math real quick. That's over $14 million nowadays.
Yeah. Thanks, COVID.
Thanks, COVID. Cool. Yeah, PlayStation was awesome, man. SOCOM, Imperial Rhino in the chat. Dude, yeah, that game was so cool.
So many hours.
Yeah.
You guys remember, so the PS2, you had to buy the multi-tap to get 4 controllers. So I had a multi-tap. And then the other revolutionary accessory was the network adapter for the original PS2.
Yeah, so that was the first time we hooked it up to the internet, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That must have been
that and the Dreamcast, right?
Yeah, Dreamcast had a 56K modem built in, I think.
Yeah. But I remember getting the network adapter, and that thing was that was game changing. You could play Madden with your friends, Madden 2002 or whatever with your friends.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Over 2 megabit internet.
This thing they didn't stop making this thing until 2012. That's insane. That's 12 years.
Is wild.
That's probably why it's the #1 selling console of all time, because they sold it for so long.
I can't believe they were pumping these out until a year before I graduated college. Like I hadn't thought about the PlayStation 2 in like 15 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, same.
Like we were well into the Xbox One or Xbox 360 by then.
360, yeah.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
PS3.
Cool. So then PlayStation, Sony is just dominating the market at the time when PS2 is in its prime. And they kind of got a little cocky. So if you guys remember the PlayStation 3, it got touted as this super advanced. It had all kinds of Gucci tech in it, and they were calling it like hyper processing and all kinds of fancy words.
Marketing.
But buzzwords.
Yeah.
Gotta add it.
It had the first Blu-ray disc player, I think, within a console.
I remember that.
Hey, to be fair,
I think that was one of the...
They won Blu-ray with that thing.
They did. Yeah, remember there was the HD DVD versus Blu-ray?
Yeah, because the Xbox One Xbox 360, you had to buy the HD DVD adapter, which nobody did. I think.
Yeah. Why would
impressive.
you?
Yeah.
But apparently it was so fancy that actually a lot of the developers just didn't want to deal with the ass pain of trying to develop on this architecture. So if you remember, like there weren't a lot of good console exclusives, especially at release time for this game. I think I worked at Best Buy during this time when this thing came out, and I remember like telling people, yeah, there's NBA, whatever the NBA game was at the time when the Heat were playing the Mavericks, and I think there may have been one other game, and that was about it.
Was that right at launch, you said?
Yeah, right at launch. And then, of course, a lot of good stuff comes out for it later on, but...
I remember it. The memes on the early interwebs was that it looked like a big grill. Like you'd pop open the disc and you'd throw in a hamburger.
No, there's a side-by-side comparison of it with a George Foreman, and it's like pretty one-to-one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Of course, they do their slim down mode, but it's like, dude, what is that thing?
Well, the other part of that was the Halo Combat Evolved was dominating at the time. Like before the PS3 came out, and everybody was waiting for Halo 2, so they were going to get an Xbox 360 or Halo 3.
Yeah, so kind of a perfect storm. Halo 2 comes out, 360 comes out. 360 releases with some good console exclusives. They're kind of marketing as like the more approachable, fun console, and then PlayStation comes out with this ultra serious, high-tech piece of machinery with 6-axis wireless controller. And oh, by the way, if you wanted the full 60 gigabyte version, you remember how much this cost?
It was something stupid. It was like $600 or something.
$600 at the time in 2000.
That's $70 million today.
Yeah. quick math. Yeah, there it is. 70 million.
There's actually a quote from, he was like either the president of the PlayStation division over there or something, but he basically said, I'm sure there's some stuff lost in translation, but he said, our goal here at PlayStation is to make fans consider getting an extra job in order to pay for the console. Like,
he actually said that?
Yeah.
That had to have been a Japanese. He was Japanese, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some.
It's a translation error. I think.
But that's also the Japanese culture, though. They like, they
you want something.
They work hard.
Yeah,
they work hard in their culture, man.
But people did not want to pay for this thing. Like even the less memory model was very expensive.
Oh well, can you imagine if I would have walked up to my parents and said, "Hey, can you get me this $600 console that, like, you can get the other version of it for like $300 less?" That's insane.
This is the first time
by the way, that's a 2 months of a car payment, maybe 3 months at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the first time I remember people buying a piece of technology and then scalping it on eBay for like $1,200.
Yeah.
Because they were also very hard to get.
And then a lot of people were buying it only for the entertainment center for the Blu-ray player. So that was probably how you convinced your dad, who's a tech guy, to buy one for you. It was like, hey, we can get the Blu-ray player.
Yeah, he's got
HD movies.
He's got his home theater, and he's like, well, if you're going to buy a Blu-ray player, you might as well just buy this, right?
This George Foreman grill with it.
It also makes a mean grilled chicken. All right, sorry, Sony. We're just teasing. All right. So then we got a good console comes out, the PlayStation 4, and they do the same thing with the slim and the fat, but this one was actually a pretty good design. It wasn't too big. But this came with the new controller design. So we'll talk about controllers here in a second, but it had the dual sense, all that kind of stuff. And it dominated the market up until the Switch being released. If you remember, Xbox One kind of having a rough go with their Kinect integration and all that kind of stuff on release. So PlayStation 4 was kind of just winning hard. And then VR integration came out, first time since Virtual Boy that you had VR on any home console. And then, so Swift, I know you had one. You played it early on, and then it kind of collected dust later on. But overall, what are your thoughts on the PS4?
I loved my PS4. I just kind of went away from it because I got an Xbox One. And for whatever reason, I kind of gravitated towards that, the Xbox, Microsoft games and whatnot. Loved it to begin with, and then, like you said, it kind of collected dust. I know we've talked about it here on the podcast before, but we brought on the deployment. It sat in a container basically the whole time, and it's, no kidding, still in fact in that same container sitting in a closet right now. So I
got one of those.
I didn't play PS4 for a long time, but I did love it to start.
Yeah, PickleMatt, you had one of these, right?
Yeah, so I had the Xbox One in Korea with you guys, and then we switched over, or I wanted to try PSVR, so I bought a PlayStation 4 on Black Friday, like 4 years after the PlayStation 4 came out, or 3 years, and caught up on all the exclusives and all that kind of stuff. It was awesome. It was a good few months.
Yeah, I did similar. So I bought the PlayStation 4 much later to try VR. It was my first free hit of VR, if you will, and I wanted to, just like you said, get into the old game library that I missed out on, all those exclusives, especially like Last of Us and God of War, but I just never had the time when the kids were younger. But yeah, I mean, this thing was good. It still is good.
Sony got so many good exclusives for the PS4. That's why they really turned it around. Like it was almost like the Xbox One. They had switched with the Microsoft, and they seemed like maybe Xbox was coasting a little bit, trying to ride the coattails of Gears of War and Halo and whatnot.
Yeah, Xbox seemed to go that, like, this will be your full entertainment system, not just your video game system, right? They had all the media integration and all that, and then they kind of lost sight of like why people liked Xbox.
Hey, speaking of which, can we just talk really quick about how thankful we should be to Sony for naming their consoles a realistic and smart thing?
Like numbers in a sequential order.
What are we talking about, Microsoft? This is terrible.
I cannot believe that Series X and S left any sort of board meeting.
I can't believe it either, because they were still selling Xbox One S
and X.
And what are you guys doing?
The number of times that Jen called me because I told her I really wanted a Series X, and she's like, "There's an Xbox X at whatever store that she was at." I was like, "Oh, get it!" And then she sent me a picture. I was like, "Oh no, that's Microsoft's idiocracy."
You could get scammed so easily back in. I mean, you still can.
It was happening to parents and stuff during the holiday season.
Yeah. Oh man, idiots!
I think.
Come on, Microsoft, just Xbox 5 next, please.
Yeah. You guys were talking about the media and everything. I think that's kind of where I gravitated towards the Xbox versus the PS4, because like we still use our Xbox for TV because it has all of that, video apps and everything.
Yeah.
We don't pay for cable. So I think that's kind of where I excuse me. I think that's where the paths kind of veered, because I was like, well, the Xbox is so convenient for all the other things I want to do in my life. And by that, I mean, just sit on the couch and watch a video or a movie, whatever. But
PickleMatt, correct me if I'm wrong. When did did PlayStation go to the paid model for online in PS3 or PS4?
It was happening after I got my before I got my PS4. I think it might have been when they switched to PS4.
Okay, yeah. So that was always one of the big pros of PlayStation, right? Was that it was free to play online, whereas Xbox you had to subscribe to Xbox Live.
In the chat, if you remember when it was, let us know.
Do it. Okay, let's move on. PS5. We know about the supply chain issues. But so far, man, I fired this thing up and it is real nice.
That's nice.
Dude, it's amazing. The thing is just the fact that I don't have to sit at a loading screen for 13 seconds. Like that's a 13, I get 10 seconds back every time a screen loads of my day. So that's important to me, right? Time is important. I'm also wondering when Sony's going to release their slimmed down version of the PS5 because that thing is a monstrosity.
Mother of God. Yeah. I opened the box.
So gigantic.
None of you warned me about this. I opened this thing. Yeah. And I have like a little bit of space left in our entertainment area up in our movie home theater. And I'm like, I go to set this thing. I'm like,
where does this go?
So it's just this god awful. It looks like a monument to some Halo god, like sitting in our. Yeah, it's weird.
Bless their hearts, though. It's quiet. It's not super loud. So I mean, they did a good job. They just, man, if they can shrink that down anytime soon, that'd be super dope.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opinion. I don't care what it looks like. So just go to a standard form box. Square that I can set things on top of.
Microsoft, thank you.
Yeah.
With the X. Just a giant.
You got one company that names their stuff logically, and then you got one company that builds their stuff logically, and then you got the Nintendo Switch all over the place. But
if you're thinking about buying a PS5, they have a stand you have to use in the horizontal position because it's also curved horizontally. I'm not sure what they're. I don't know. They want it to be vertical and horizontal, but I don't know. Come on, guys.
It looks alien, like an alien piece of technology.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, I guess you can't talk about PlayStation without talking about the Xbox rivalry / war. This is kind of the dawn of the console fanboys, right? Like us PC gamers are sitting over here watching these console boys yell at each other, but it's kind of funny. But
Taze, can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
So that all the viewers can get a look at that monstrosity.
Look at that thing. And it's
the controller at the bottom.
It's much larger than you get in that picture too. It's very heavy. Cool. All right, so Swift, you were a Xbox guy. No, you were a PlayStation 2 guy. No PS3, and then you became an Xbox guy for quite a long time until the PC came along, and now you got it all because you're on a gaming podcast. But
yeah,
does that check?
Xbox for a long time.
Yeah.
Before you and I built the PC, and never really thought about PS until all of a sudden everyone was hyping up this. And I just want to say, random aside, that like on previous podcasts we've been talking about PC Master Race versus all these idiots getting consoles, and then I go ahead and get myself a PS5, and I was just like, well, okay, eat those words, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean the humor of the PC Master Race is that it's mostly satire, but
yeah.
Peel Rhino in the chat says, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he wins the race there. 2010 is when PlayStation went to the paid subscription for their online gaming, which would have been what, PS3 time?
Would have been just before, basically right before the 4. Yeah. So halfway in the lifetime of the PS3, you had to start paying for that bad boy. Cool. All right. Yeah, I was the Xbox was the first console that I bought with my own money. If you guys remember the layaway program at Walmart back in the day, my mom would take me to Walmart every time I earned a little bit of money from mowing lawns or whatever, and I'd put a little bit more on there. And eventually, I walked home with my Xbox, and I was an Xbox guy until about a couple weeks ago. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a Series X?
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. There's just Game Pass keeps me keeps that thing relevant in my house, but without Game Pass, there's no exclusives that I would care.
What do you need the Series X for if you've got a good gaming PC and a PS5?
Yeah. Just to spend more money.
Tax write-offs.
Because Halo, you already got tax write-offs.
No, I will say there's something to be said for playing 4K 60 frames on a 85-inch HDR TV.
Bragging.
With surround sound. Like, there's a different vibe, but now I can do that with the PlayStation. Who knows? Maybe I'll sell my Xbox because I can do all the... I think there are some games, though, on Game Pass that you can only play on a console.
Yeah, I think you're right. Jay Thatcher said kids on your lap console is easier. And that is 100% true.
True. All right. And you, PickleMatt, what? I don't know really where you live. You were definitely Xbox in Korea. And you seem to be a PlayStation guy now. Do you still have a Xbox? Do you have a Series X?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't really see a reason to after I built my gaming PC.
Yeah.
But I was an Xbox guy for a long time. Actually, so back in the day, I owned a PS2, and then all my friends got an Xbox, and we would do Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2 LAN parties, and eventually Halo 3. But I never had an Xbox back in that day until the like midway through the Xbox 360 cycle. So I was always borrowing a controller and wanting an Xbox, and then I switched to Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and then made the leap over to PS4. I'm a PlayStation guy right now through and through until Xbox comes out with some exclusives, but I don't see that changing anytime soon. Well, Bethesda and Blizzard or Activision.
Yeah. We'll see. If they do go the console, I don't think they will because they got Game Pass on everything.
And they're making everything for PC, so I'm set with this.
Their business model is to get their properties on every machine that they can get their hands on. So cool. Well, chat, let us know, you fanboys in there, PlayStation or Xbox. What do you got? And if you're listening on the podcast, just go ahead and drop it on Twitter, OMG_podcastGG, and let us know. Xbox, PlayStation, neither. Nintendo?
Yeah, you can say Nintendo, but I've always seen Nintendo as like kind of a separate thing because they've got such unique stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like Xbox, it's Microsoft versus Sony, and then Nintendo is just kind of doing their own thing. And like everybody wants a Nintendo Switch, right? Just because all the things that it offers as far as Nintendo exclusives. But I at this point, I don't really consider them a part of the the race, as it were.
We need to do a cool Nintendo thing episode, because have you seen like the augmented reality racing game that they have now with Mario?
And with the car.
Logo? Yeah, that stuff's crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good topic for another episode, but yeah, the three consoles seem to have found like mutually exclusive markets, if you will. So Xbox with Game Pass, Switch with like this completely different type of console that you can play on the go and at home at the same time. Plus they've got their Nintendo properties, and then PlayStation with their like console exclusive library that's so awesome. They all seem to be living in this world where like they can all exist without really directly competing with each other. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like just harmony in the gaming space, right?
Yeah.
We need
Where
one of those
nobody
coexist.
is. Yeah,
Oh,
and I mean, I know we looked at old, a few episodes, a lot of episodes ago, we looked at old gaming ads where they were just directly shitting on each other.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be required anymore because each of them has their own thing going on.
Yeah.
Or
What was it?
PlayStation saying that they're going to destroy Nintendo because they canceled their first PlayStation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, that's right.
Nintendo don't. That's right.
We need
That's
a
awesome.
coexist bumper sticker with a bunch of gaming logos on it now.
Ooh, dude. We're going to start selling that swag. That's good.
Yeah,
I
we'll
like
sell it. Check out the One More Game podcast store on.
Yeah. We got so much merch.
We got
All the
merch
merch.
now.
Or we sell these hats, maybe.
Yeah. All right. And we can sell you technical difficulties as well. We got a lot of those.
That's right. You're welcome.
Cool beans. All right. So let's talk console exclusives, dude. There's a bunch out there. What's the Hall of Fame? I mean, God of War, obviously.
God of War. Yeah.
I think, if you talk console exclusives, Halo is the first one that comes to my mind. Just because
for Xbox.
That was. Yeah, for Xbox. Sorry.
Okay. What about?
I thought we were talking.
Here's a question for you guys in the chat. Who is PlayStation's mascot? Who is their Mario, their Sonic, their Master Chief?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Ooh.
Is it Kratos? He's kind of
think
the
it
only
might
one
be.
I
that
don't know, man.
spans the.
They got the. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
They've got Astrobot now. He's kinda he's kind of cool, but no, he's not. I mean, everybody plays that game right away and then kind of drops it. Crash.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. Crash
Almeida
Bandicoot.
says Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would have used to say
Nathan
said that,
Drake?
but he's not exclusive to PlayStation.
Not
Yeah, that's
anymore.
true.
Yeah, I mean he
And
was
Jay
originally.
Thatcher said used to be Crash Bandicoot, then it was Nathan Drake.
Yeah, Nathan Drake's a good one.
That's not a
Uncharted
bad one.
series is real good.
He's a family friend. Kratos is too big and scary. Yeah, you
Maybe
can't really.
Atreus then.
You can't put him on the face of your. He ain't no Mario, but
No.
Yeah.
all right, cool. What else you got? Last of Us, obviously, pretty big.
Last of Us, yeah. Killzone was big for a long time. That was kind of their response to Halo back in that day. You guys remember Killzone? I remember seeing commercials. I never
Yeah.
played it.
They sold didn't they sell their like a gun with the
Yeah.
what were those little wand things with PlayStation? Can't remember.
The Move controllers.
Move controllers.
Yeah.
That's the one.
The so you had Killzone. Obviously Nathan Drake's for the Uncharted series is a really good set of exclusives. Right now, I mean, if you're not playing Spider-Man and you have a PS5, then you will soon. You have to.
Yeah. That's kind of weird because console exclusive because Sony owns Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
kind of, right?
Yeah.
Disney
sort of.
also owns Spider-Man. Kind of.
West of the Mississippi, they own Spider-Man. Ghosts of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Sashimi, yeah.
Uncharted. Yeah, there's so many out there. Ratchet and Clank, right?
Horizon Zero
Clank,
Dawn.
I've heard really good things about Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn until their PC release, but the new one will be probably only on PlayStation for a while.
Yeah, they're kind of doing this thing where they release them much later on PC after they've got all the money they can out of it. Gran Turismo, and
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Did you guys ever play Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. I'm trying to think
There's
of
so
any
many.
others.
There's so many. Astrobot. And then PSVR is the only way you can play VR on a console, which PSVR 2 is coming out here in the next year probably.
Yeah, and there's a few VR console exclusives. Astrobot is the main one I can think of.
Yeah, there was one. Oh, there's going to be a Horizon Zero Dawn VR,
VR,
game, which is going to be super dope. Fighting robot dinosaurs in VR.
Jay Nick in the chat says Last of Us is so good. Okay, so I have a question about this because I'm looking to get into the first one at least to start. I know the story is really good. Is the gameplay good?
The gameplay is it was better than I expected based on what I saw.
Okay.
Originally. Yeah, the gameplay is really good. I thought they did it pretty well for a third person. It seems clunky when you watch like gameplay of it, but it ends up not being clunky at all, I don't think.
Nice.
And The Last of Us 1 actually had a really good multiplayer. It's my friend Seth, or my brother-in-law Seth, if you're watching or listening, hopefully he loved it too. We played it all the time. Had a really good multiplayer, but they didn't do it for Last of Us 2. Kind of going back to the incomplete game releases from previous episodes. Remember, guys?
Yeah.
You guys talked about.
Was it like a co-op mode? Or?
No, it was PvP, and it was you would use
really?
like the guns from the game, and then you could use like the little traps that you built in the game, the single player.
Interesting.
But Taze, you'll like Last of Us. It's good. The second one's really good too.
I mean, a sucker for story, so I'm in. Cool. I think that's all the console exclusives the chat has thought of and we've thought of. But yeah, there's a lot out there. I mean, God of War, like, I just want to go back and play all of them because I never got to, and they're all available.
If you like stories, the Horizon Zero Dawn first game, at least, the way they reveal how you got into the dystopian future world is the coolest thing. It's like a backstory story. So there's like two stories going on, the present time and the past, as you kind of discover what happens in the past. And it's so cool. You guys got to check that one out too.
Oh,
I started playing it, but then I was playing Ghosts of Tsushima.
Tsushima.
And just the controls are slightly different.
Ooh,
so I would be hitting buttons that I was used to on Ghosts, and it was the wrong button on Horizon Zero Dawn. So I was like, well, I need to just do it, I think, one game at a time at this point.
Yeah.
So I can truly appreciate the motion and gameplay and all that stuff. So I haven't really gotten into it, but I'm excited to, because it seems like it's a really cool story to start.
Oh, I guess we could talk about console exclusives like in the history of PlayStation. There was a million of them: Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Metal Gear Solid, up until recently, Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they had a lot. Oh, man. I only had a PlayStation 2 though. I didn't have a PlayStation 3 and then a 4 late in the game. So I didn't play a lot of the exclusives back in the day.
Tony Hawk was on N64.
Tony Hawk was on Dreamcast. I can attest to that.
Cool. Oh, Returnal. That was one that I totally forgot.
Oh, yeah. Good game too. That's on PlayStation. You should have that Stroke, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With your subscription now?
Yep.
That's a good one. It's a roguelike, really cool story. I think I spoiled part of the story for you when I told you the cool part of it.
I forgot already, I think. I think it has something to do with... Yeah. Well, I won't spoil it.
Live, die, repeat situation.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's get into these real quick. This will be a quick one, but let's talk about these controllers. What if I told you that the first PlayStation didn't have analog sticks on it? Do you believe me?
That...
oh, dude, that's so weird.
Isn't that weird? Do you remember that? I don't remember that.
That's so weird. I don't remember that either.
Apparently, on the very first one, it had just a D-pad.
I mean, it's... Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What is this thing? The analog joystick. Are you flying
the funny...
run using an AT-AT? Like, I don't know. What is that?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no throttle.
Oh, yeah.
It's just two sticks.
I don't know what's going on.
Anyway.
Cool. And then
so if you play the new Astrobot, they'll take you through all of the accessories that have come out for PlayStations And
I was going to talk to you about that.
them.
It's really cool. I like
Yeah.
It's kind of what inspired me
so
about
cool.
this episode, because it's like a history of PlayStation in a game. It's really neat.
Yeah.
All the
cool.
little bots like reenacting scenes from different PlayStation games. It's really cool.
Yeah. Have you collected you can collect the discs of like famous PlayStation games, but they all have bot in the name now, and then it has a picture of the bot. So like Uncharted, I think it was like Unbotted or something, and it's like a Nathan Drake looking Astrobot guy like swinging around. It's really funny.
Nice.
Really
yeah,
well
Jay Thatcher said he played a game called Croc: Legend of the Gobos with the weird analog thing.
The analog joysticks.
What the
that sounds dope.
All right, cool. So then their controller basically looks the same for like a long time. Like Xbox, I don't know if you remember the original Xbox controller, but it was the size of a Frisbee. But PlayStation they added some rumble and dual shock and all that kind of stuff, 6-axis, but the controller itself remains relatively the same exact physical design for a long time until the DualShock 4 controller came out, and that's when all the hype came out about how good the controllers were. And then obviously the PS5 DualSense controller is insane.
Yeah. Did the DualShock 3 have triggers, or was it still just buttons like R2 and L2?
I think the 3 is when it actually had trigger, like you could pull over a distance.
That would have been a major loss for them. Maybe one of the reasons, but if they already had it, because I remember Xbox, that was like the first controller with real triggers.
Yeah. Dreamcast had triggers.
Oh, Dreamcast. Yeah, you're right. Wow, Dreamcast. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Everyone loved him. All right, there's the controllers for you folks. They're good. I mean, it's growing on me as a longtime Xbox guy. Having both analog sticks down instead of one up, it's not my favorite aspect of the controller, but you get used to it, I guess.
DualSense is the best controller ever made.
This is the best controller ever made. The Xbox
I have that?
Elite.
Nope.
Perfectly fits your hands.
It's good. Yeah, I guess. Ew, yeah.
I really like
under buttons.
Oh yeah, the triggers or whatever.
You like N64?
Yeah, N64 controllers heinous.
The three handhelds.
Yeah. I think, and I don't know, maybe I'm just still in, what do they call it when couples are in their
honeymoon phase?
Honeymoon phase, yeah. So I might be still in my honeymoon phase with the PS5, but I think, in my opinion, holding a PS4 controller versus the PS5 controller, I think that they like beefed it up a little bit, so it feels better in my hands because it's not as small. I'm still getting used to, like what you said, as far as the two joysticks being on the same axis, but I think that it does feel a little bit better, in my opinion, than the old PS controllers.
Yeah, I think the PS4 controller felt a little bit cheap. Like
it was light.
Yeah,
it was light. That's why.
Yeah, this feels a little more substantial.
Well, I mean, if you look at the difference between the 3 and the 4, all they added were probably like some gyros and whatnot. So like the technology gets lighter and smaller every year, so they probably just didn't have to add much besides that touchpad, I guess.
Yeah, which doesn't take much nowadays. I thought it was cool though that controller like made sounds like the current one does. Like I remember playing Astrobot for the first time, and I had my VR headset on, right? But then I hear my little friend like screaming at me from my controller. I was like,
"Oh, Astrobot!"
Yeah, it's cool.
The dedicated meow button will meow through your controller if you're not wearing headphones.
Oh my god!
On Stray,
love that.
Stray, the game that we'll talk about here shortly. All right. There you have it, folks. All right, we do got to talk about a little bit of their handhelds. So they came out with some good handhelds in their time. So you had the PSP, which went through a bunch of different iterations. I had this silver one much later in life, like got it used from someone, I think. But yeah, this thing was awesome. Played PlayStation-ish like games on PSP. Did you guys have PSPs?
Nope.
These are like the ultimate cool kid signs at school when you were younger.
While you were ignoring class, you're just in the back.
Yeah.
Playing under your desk.
I will say they were not comfortable. That is like one of the most uncomfortable handhelds to hold ever. Especially this guy, the PSP Go. Like, what is this?
It's like a Game & Watch.
Yeah. Cool. And then the PS Vita was like their bread and butter for a long time. Basically just felt like a PlayStation. But yeah. You guys never had any PlayStation handhelds?
No.
Nah, I had better things to do.
I talk to girls
wait
and
for
stuff.
As I wait
As you
for
wait years for your Steam Deck to arrive.
That's right.
Cool. Well, if you have any thoughts about the PlayStation Vita or the PSP, let us know in the chat or send us an email. All right, guys. So overall, what are your thoughts? PlayStation 5. Well, I'll go first because I'm the newest. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. I fired that thing up. Me and the kids and Jen were playing Spider-Man for a while the other night, which is a perfect game for a young kid who's into superheroes because it's action-y and superhero-y, but it's not like vulgar and gory or anything like that. And holy cow, does that game make you feel exactly like you imagine Spider-Man when you're swinging through the city. Like, just nailed it.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. What else have we, like, I was surfing through so yeah, spoiler alert, I signed up for the whatever premium version of their game.
PlayStation Plus Essential.
There it is. PlayStation Plus Essential.
It's essential you pay a lot of money for this.
And I'm just sitting there going through the library, putting stars on all the games that I'm never going to be able to play because I'm an adult. But I'm excited, man. Like, I fired it up. It turned everything on without me having to set anything up. It worked immediately, and I started downloading games, and we were playing them in no time. Astrobot was free on it, came with it, and that game in itself is a great time. And then, of course, Stray. I had to fire that thing up. We've talked about it so much, but yeah. So right now, I'm just really excited about the PS5 that I've played a few times. But okay, so here's a question I have. I've got some games from PlayStation 4. Can I get those things over on the 5? Or is it backward? I'm not educated on all this yet.
Yes, I think the only console they were having trouble with was PS3 games, maybe. But yeah, all the PS4 work on PS5.
Sweet. Swift?
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure everything's good to go.
Yeah, J Nick in the chat. We need you back on PS5 now that we all got one.
I know, dude. You gotta get back in there. We need you.
Here's a question.
In the gulags, but not literally on Warzone. Just on the console.
Please, not Warzone. Okay, if I have those PS4 games and they have a optimized for PS5 version, do I get it?
So the free upgrade has been a thing for, I think, all the older games, but they're just now. What was the last game? I think it was Horizon Forbidden West. I think it was the last game where it would be a free upgrade to PS5 because they have to charge $70 for the PS5 games now.
Okay, so if you buy a game on PS4 nowadays that's relatively newer, you're going to have to pay to upgrade it if you bring it over to 5?
Anything beside, I mean, God of War Ragnarok, I think will be the first one that pretty much everybody screws up and accidentally buys the PS4 thinking they're being smart. because that one will not upgrade to a PS5 optimized.
Nice. All right, Swift. What do you think, dude? You having fun?
And we'll get into like games that I played this week. Talking specifically about PS5, but dude, I'm loving it. Once that thing was set up, and I already talked about all the things, not all the things, but a couple of things that I really enjoy about it. I mean, it's just good. The controller, the load times, just the exclusives. Like I said, honeymoon phase still, I think, but really loving it.
All right. What is this? The most gimmicky thing is the stupid. Why would I ever blow into my controller? Like,
I know. It kills me.
So dumb.
Why?
It's just the microphone, right?
Yeah. I understand.
Actually, so the microphone, I think they were just using the microphone for funsies on the Astrobot game. I was not wearing my headset once, and I hopped into Fortnite with my buddy Donnie, and his voice was playing through the controller, and he was hearing my voice from the microphone on the controller, so I could play the entire game and communicate with my teammates with nothing.
So you're one of those people with a shitty mic that is making people's ears bleed.
No. I immediately hooked up my mic and put it next to my smoke alarm that was beeping, but I didn't realize that was a thing until I did that.
Oh, got it.
Nice.
The mic is useful if you like misplace your headset.
Cool.
But I'm not going to blow into the controller.
All right, so you've had a lot more experience with it. What are your thoughts so far? Like, dude, is this the one that you should buy if you've got?
I think the PS5 is like near console perfection. Like, it can display games on pretty much any high level TV to the maximum. The controller is awesome, and the exclusives are just out of this world. Like God of War Ragnarok, I can't say how much I'm gonna be excited for it. And then on top of that, the PSVR 2 is gonna be super great. Like the specs that they started releasing, if it's done well, it's gonna be a dynamic duo that you have to own and spend $1,000 on.
Yeah, that was kind of the tipping point for me when I was really thinking about it. When you told me about the Total Tech offer, I was like, well, we have the Series X, and PS Plus is going to let you play some stuff on PC coming shortly, I think. So I was kind of like, I got the Steam Deck and all that, but then I thought about PSVR 2, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be significantly better than the Oculus for a more price, but oh man, I can't wait. I need to start saving money.
Yeah.
But jumping into the PlayStation late cycle, like the PlayStation 4 late cycle, I had the exact same feeling as you, just a kid in the candy shop, because a lot of those exclusives for PS4 hold up perfectly still for the PS5.
Oh yeah.
And then they're remastering them all to make a lot of money off people. So
it's really strange that there's remastered games that came out like within the last 5 years.
I know. Like Last of Us Part 1 is going to have a Last of Us 1 remake, which I don't know what the difference between a remake and a remaster is at this, like now. I just know that the companies are just grabbing cash from everybody.
Well, cool. There you have it, folks. There's our discussion on PlayStation. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we move on to what we played? If
you're a diehard Xbox person or Nintendo, sorry. Just sorry.
Those episodes will come. Maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely Nintendo, but I don't know about Xbox.
I should talk to the Xbox enough that I don't know if that's gonna.
Yeah.
I won't have much to add.
Cool. Swift. Last words for the old PlayStation.
No, man. I think I've made my thoughts very clear as far as how much I'm enjoying it, and we'll talk some specifics here in a couple minutes.
Go Beans. That being said, guys, we are PC gamers at heart, so it's not like we're going to be missing in action from the PC gaming space. And if you would like to play those PC games with us, you can join us on our Discord. It's Bonsai Gaming. Search that, and we'll get you an invite. Or you can send us email, OMGpodcastGG@gmail.com, and we'll hook you up with the Discord invite. Always someone on playing something. And I am happy to announce that Bonsai Gaming is officially signed up for Season 14 of the Nexus Gaming Series for the dead game Heroes of the Storm. So we are officially in. And if you'd like to join us, or at least watch us and cheer us on, join the Discord. We'd love to have you. And with that being said, we will get into what we played this week. All right. PickleMatt, lead us off. It's been 2 weeks of gaming. What did you get into?
Imagine starting a podcast in 2022 about video games and HOTS comes up all the time. It's just
it's not dead, dude. It's got a bustling community.
It's not dead. Okay, so this week I played HOTS. I won 4 out of the last 6 games that I played, which is that's never happened before. It's insane. So I think I'm gonna quit now. Sorry about that, boys.
Go ahead on top.
Just kidding. Yeah, go ahead on top.
Wayne Gretzky.
No, try out some new characters. I think I found 3 or 4 that I want to play for this tournament thing that we're doing. I don't have any idea what we're doing, but I'll be there.
Bandit in the chat. It should be dead. Out of nowhere, she's been silent all night, and then she's like, "Oh, damn game,
off the top rope."
Yeah. Cool. And then I played some Fortnite. Always good to get back into a kids game to make your blood boil and or relax you. A lot of fun there. And then the other game that I played, so we had the hiatus because I was at a wedding last weekend, so I didn't play a lot of games before that. But then I did download Stray because I have PlayStation Plus. What's the mid tier? I don't know.
At Walmart brand, I don't know.
Yeah, great value PlayStation Plus. I played Stray, which so it got a bunch of good reviews. It got like an 84 on Metacritic, I think, which for Metacritic, that's like probably a must-buy game for the year. So I upgraded to PlayStation mid-tier great value so that I could play Stray because it was only a $20 upgrade for me. And I gotta say, my prediction a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I just don't think it's not that cool for me. Like the dedicated meow button doesn't do anything. My son, even my 2-year-old son, thought it was funny for like 10 minutes, and he would hit the meow button, but it's not that impressive. And then you can like scratch on things and stuff. It was, I would say, reading through reviews afterwards, it just seems like people are giving it good reviews because they love cats and it's a unique game about a cat. I don't know. If my review would be skip it until it's either on sale or you have nothing else to play and you're looking for something with PS Plus already installed and it's free for you.
Harsh words from PickleMatt about the Stray.
Yeah, when your toddler gets bored of it after a while, after like 15 minutes, it's not. What did you think about that, Swift? You played it, right?
I did play it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a jumping puzzle game, but all the puzzle is you have to turn the camera to the right angle so that the X button appears on the right thing.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's actually much harder for if you're watching your 5-year or 4-year-old play than you would think it would be.
Yeah.
I thought the intro was cool where you're like running along with the 3 other cats and, trying to. Honestly, I thought it was kind of sad. Like when the cat falls down after jumping on the pipe, I was like, spoiler. Oh no, his friends.
Yeah. He's injured a little bit.
Yeah. But the puzzles are cool. But it's just basically like any other game you could play, except more frustrating because you're a cat and not a human.
Yeah, I played it. I think it's a missed opportunity is what I would say. It has a cool concept that could have been more than what it is, but the gameplay is very lackluster. The puzzles are not difficult, and it's more about like it almost feels more like a demonstration of a concept rather than a fleshed out game with a. But when the cat gets in the backpack,
yeah,
yeah, that's true. Blonde Bandit. The cat freaks out very accurately.
Moments.
Yeah.
We tried to put a Halloween costume on our cats one year, and they tried to back their way out of it, like walk backwards.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what the stray cat does when you get a backpack for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's atmospheric, and it kind of presents a cool, what feels like is going to be a cool setup, and then it just doesn't really. I mean, I haven't played much, like enough of it to give it a full review, but yeah, I don't think it has the legs to stand on. If you catch my drift.
I'm probably like 3.5 hours in, and I don't know. I'll like force myself to finish it because I don't want to be rude to the people. But I don't. Would you buy it for $30?
No, if it wasn't on the subscription, I would not buy it.
Yeah, I'd wait for it to be on sale or not buy it at all, unless you're a furry and you love that.
But it's not even like you don't even really get to like immerse yourself in the being a Katniss, like not like Katniss Everdeen, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they had, I think there's so many other opportunities they could have made, like laser pointers and all kinds of things that cats. I don't know. The gameplay is just boring. There it is.
Yeah, it's boring. But if you meow 100 times, you get a trophy.
And like you literally can just run away from the little things.
Yeah, once you get I don't know. Anyway.
Cool. All right. What else? Is that it?
That's all the games that I played. Yeah, I played Exit the Gungeon on my Backbone on the plane, but I only got to play for like an hour before I fell asleep.
That's a Neil trap.
What?
Just Enter the Gungeon, dude.
No, Exit the Gungeon is the sequel.
What?
Yeah, there's a sequel. It's not as, I would say it's not as cool as the first one. The first one's really, really awesome.
Oh,
it's more of a it's a horizontal, so not top down anymore, but it's a horizontal one where you can go up and down and left and right.
Okay. Today I learned.
The camera is horizontal. Yeah. There you go. It's free on Apple Arcade if you got like the Apple subscription, and a Backbone makes it nice.
All right, Swift. You've gotten into you got to some weird places, I think, in your gaming this last few weeks.
Yeah, with the kind of hiatus, I've gotten into some weird stuff. I'll hit on stuff real quick that we've already kind of talked about. I played Stray. Dude, I think like you guys talked about, it's boring. I didn't play all that long, but I think you need to be, it should be like Elden Ring where you can customize your cat as opposed to, just going into
why are they
world.
not selling cat skins?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now you sound like the Unity president. Like, if you're not trying to nickel and dime your customers, you're an effing idiot.
Or like Blizzard.
Yeah.
So Stray, we hit on that enough. I played Ghost of Tsushima, or Sashimi, as I call it. No disrespect to the game devs, but I don't know. I think that Japanese culture sounds about right.
Wait, you don't like uncooked fish?
I know the game is kind of old. It's older. It's not brand new or anything, but dude, I get like Red Dead, God of War, Witcher 3, all of those vibes from it. You're just a samurai, which I think is so cool. The combat's really fun. There's no magic. Yeah. You got your swords and that's it.
Is it stealthy? Are you stealthy?
Some parts you have to be stealthy.
It's the standard game for me where you try to be stealthy and then you kill 3 people and then you alert the guards and then it's not stealthy.
And then it's just a battle royale. Yeah.
That doesn't work in Elden Ring.
I'm really enjoying that game. I was talking to Jimmy. I don't know if he's still in the chat, J Nick, but it's kind of overwhelming. I played it for 2 days, basically solid. That was all I played when I got home from Idaho. And then you just like look at the map and everything's red, meaning Mongol territory, enemies.
Yep.
And I was just like, dude, there's so much stuff that I need to do. So I kind of like took a pause and decompressed from that. But overall, I'm really enjoying it, and I like the story of like the Ghost of Tsushima, because it kind of reminds me, and the vibe that I got all of a sudden, because I didn't really understand what the premise was until I got into it. But turns out, dude, you are a samurai trying to save your island from these oppressors, and it just reminded me of like the stories of Ghost of Kiev, like that singular dude who was taking it to the enemy, and that's kind of what you're doing, which I thought was very cool. And obviously this game I think came out before that whole storyline happened, but it just reminded me of it, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice.
The one last thing I'll say about that game is you have to you get materials throughout the world, flowers, all kinds of stuff, and they made it very dumbed down as far as specific things that you need, and most of the things that you collect are just called supplies.
Nice.
And it kills me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not anything specific, it's just supplies. And it's just like, okay, sounds good.
I think it almost seemed like when I played it, it would almost seem like they were going to go deeper, and then they were just like, it releases in a month, let's just call it supplies.
There was one dev whose job was to like flesh that system out, and he was
that's right.
getting drunk every night, and they were like, it's due tomorrow, dude. It's still called supplies.
Can we just say COVID and call it supplies?
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. Other than that, Astrobot, we hit on that a little bit. It's really cool. Just like a kind of controller tutorial, also light, fun, whatever. Spider-Man we hit on. I played a little bit of that last night. Like you said, the swing through the city is amazing. The combat's fun. It's not too complicated, as far as controls go when you're in combat and all that stuff, which is nice. And that, that basically sums up anything that we didn't already talk about. And then I guess the last one, the one weird game that I got told to try is called Road 96. If you haven't played it, it's free on Game Pass. Weirdest game I've ever played in my life. I know when we did like the gaming news a month or two ago, we kind of hit on it lightly, but it's basically this country, and I forget what it's even called. But you have to escape the country by crossing the border to a northern country. And there's no real time limit or anything. It's just kind of like you take different steps. It's first person for the majority of it, and then sometimes it gets into third person. But overall, there's almost no way to explain it other than like you have to do these random tasks, and the whole goal is to get across the border, like I talked about, but you have to do so without getting arrested or any of these things, and different choices that you make. So there's different checkpoints throughout your journey. The different choices that you make based on if you want to, like in one instance for me, you help these thieves break into this bank, right? So you're in the control room helping them, and the different choices you make based on either helping them or surrendering to the police or any of that kind of go into this journey that you're making. It's all decision based. It's kind of like one of those books that we read, Choose Your Own Adventure, when we were kids, where you choose this choice and you go to page
57.
96. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, just in a video game. The graphics aren't great, but they don't need to be. It's weird. It sounds really weird, I'm sure, if you're listening. But I actually am having a good time playing it. Like there's no, it's not stressful. There's nothing really to it other than just make this decision and see where you end up. So I've done 2, and sorry, last note, so like the first playthrough, or every playthrough, I guess, is like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how much you want to explore or whatever. So I've done 1 playthrough all the way through, and a second playthrough. Now all of a sudden I'm a different, and you're like a teenager while you do this. So now I'm a totally separate person, but still trying to make the journey from a separate route, as it were. So
you're not
again,
the same person?
No, you're a completely different person.
Weird.
So once I made it across the border on the first person, it brought me back to the main menu, and then it's like Act 2, and now you get to pick from another, and you don't get to see who you are. You just pick based off supplies, like energy, all that stuff, and then you're a completely separate person trying to make the same voyage, just from a different place and route. Yeah, very interesting.
Weird, different than anything you've ever done, but entertaining.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, so that is exactly why we wanted you to start playing these games, so you could give our listeners weird games to play. So Swift will be bringing you
what? Route 96?
Route 96.
Road 96.
Road 96. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you you dabbled in something strange.
Yeah, it certainly was strange.
Let's see. We'll figure out what game we're going to get him into next week.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Yacht Simulator.
Yeah, that's right. Power washer simulator.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, let's see. I'll rattle through my stuff. So I played some Fortnite. Battle Pass 80-something, 86, I want to say.
Oh, nice.
Getting better. Still never going to be as good as some of these people that come in and kill me. Like, it's just trivial. Like, sometimes, you know what I'm talking about, where a group of people runs up on you and you're just like, not at 99 times out of 100 I die, and actually 100 times out of 100 I get killed by that team. But
yeah,
it's still fun.
Max.
I'm loving it. Dude, God of War. We already talked about this, but my son in that game is being a little douche and teenage angst, and I'm like so emotionally invested now in the story that I'm like, oh boy, I'm about to slap you silly.
I know. Don't you want to go into the TV or your Steam Deck and be like,
yeah,
how do I discipline this kid so he gets it?
I'm searching through the menus. Where's my talent tree for smacking my kid around?
Yeah, grounding my kid.
It also makes me terrified for the teenage years with my kids. But yeah.
Yeah, because Artreus is like taking the car out and staying out late and going to movies and stuff.
Stealing from my wallet. Yeah. Man, they do just a really good job of like making him piss you off. Like, wow, what a douche. Which is really crazy because the whole time you've been like, this is such a wholesome experience. But gotta teach those tough lessons. Cool. I played a lot of Elden Ring this week, or these last 2 weeks. Not a lot, but every time I'm preoccupied with the kids and they're kind of like coloring or want to do something introverted, I grab my Steam Deck and I play some Elden Ring. So I beat Margit after how many months of having that game? So that's like the first main big boss. Took me about 27 attempts. There were 4 other attempts in there where he was literally one breath of wind from dying. And then now I finally found my way through the whole Stormvale Castle, and I'm about to walk into the door of what I can assume is the next big boss. Based on the story that's going on. I think it's the King Godric the Golden or something like that. But I'm finally figuring out how to like watch their movements and not just mash dodge and like. But then at the bottom of Stormvale Castle, you go into this pit and you can see it like as you're about to hop into it. You're like, something gnarly is about to come out of here.
Right.
Yeah, and the most, I don't know how, whoever thought of this thing that they have come out and attack you is the disturbed individual. It's like this giant worm-like thing made out of appendages of other things, and it destroyed me, but I didn't. You don't have to kill it to continue on, so I have not attempted that thing again. But cool, there's Elden Ring, dude. I'm loving it. Everything I had to say about those games, it's gone. I don't know why it has the ability to make me do something so punishing over and over again, but they nailed it. We talked a lot about PlayStation, so yeah, I played Spider-Man, played Stray. We already talked about all those, and it's great. Having a great time. More to come on the PlayStation adventure for me. And then Heroes of the Storm, which my wife is super happy about. We played some of that, and we got the team motivated again.
I forgot about that. I also played that, and it didn't go great.
There's going to be some learning curves, and we're just going to have a lot of fun out there. But yeah, that's it for One More Game podcast games that we played this week, and that's about all we got for you for this time around. We'll go around the room and see what kind of words of wisdom you got for the listeners as we move along. PickleMatt?
Oh, man. I need to start thinking about this before you ask me. If you have any games that you really want Swift to play, please send us an email. What's the email there, Taze?
OMGpodcastGG @gmail.com. Send them, and Swift will play them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they are.
Contractually required to play anything that is emailed to him.
Or that is on the teleprompter.
Yeah, that's right. That's all I got.
All right. Swift. Send it.
I don't really have necessarily words of wisdom. Really, truly enjoying the PS5. Happy that I made the purchase and am not a hater anymore. But also, just in life news, Jimmy or J-Nick in the chat is driving down from Vegas next weekend to come visit. So that'll be good.
Nice.
Get to see him.
He's gonna love Stray. You got it on your console.
He's absolutely
such a furry.
But yeah, that's it.
Cool beans. Well, I will leave you with I don't know. I don't got anything for you either. I guess I should have written something down.
Buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, get a PS5, get a Steam Deck, get an Xbox Series X, get a Nintendo Switch, and and then
live in your Tesla.
Yeah. Cool beans. We're happy to bring you some gaming news, some commentary, and our analysis of how good PlayStation is. We already talked about it before, but you can reach us at OMG_podcastGG on Twitter and Instagram, and then I myself stream from time to time at twitch.tv/the__stroke, as well as at the__stroke on Twitter and Instagram. Swift, he's over there at twitch.tv/Swiftmida, and I'm ImPickleMatt as well at twitch.tv/ImPickleMatt. You can also find our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and OMGpodcast.podbean.com. And you can find us on all those other platforms that you might find your podcasts on. And if you like what you hear, leave us a review. Share us with your friends, and we'll grow this small community one listener at a time. With that, I'll leave you with one final thought. Just because you have to grow up doesn't mean you have to stop gaming. Game on, gamers, and we will see you on the next episode of One More Game. PickleMatt, Swift, see ya!
See ya!
See ya!
Left it on the floor, bitch.
Okay. We are
so
not live.